So 25% tariffs on all imports of steel and aluminum. Okay. Then the EU and Asian exporters, including South Korea, are preparing for potential retaliation, recalling past trade disputes. Under Trump's first term in 2018, the U.S. imposed duties on $7 billion of European steel and imports. China retaliates with imposing $14 billion worth of U.S. goods with their own set of tariffs. So that's China, okay? Beijing imposes tariffs of $14 million goods with levies ranging from 10 to 15% on liquefied natural gas, coal, crude oil, farm equipment, and automotive goods. Its embassy in Washington announced. So this is the move after U.S. Trump posing a 10% levy on Chinese products. Okay, so consumer sentiment has dropped significantly as inflation expectations jumped from 3.3 in January to 4.3 in February, the highest since November of 2023. It's very rare to see a full percentage point jump in inflation expectations, says Joanne Su, the director of University of Michigan. Concerns about tariffs and economic turbulence have driven pessimism across the political spectrum, with even Trump supporters like Paul Bison, a 58-year-old business owner, saying, I don't like the turbulence, I don't like the chaos in a market. Trump's threats of 10% on China, 25% on Mexico.
First of all, the tariffs haven't been in place long enough to cause that. They're just getting announced right now. And I find it amusing that when Trump was announcing tariffs on metals, that the European Union retaliated with tariffs on Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Levi's. That's what the European Union. That would be like a wife says, okay, I'm really upset. Embargo on sexual relations in this household. And then the husband says, oh, yeah, well, then I'm not going to put the seat down. It's like, how do you compare these two? And so I think right now, I have said for weeks, these are tactics, not taxes. And they are meant to move people in the middle of negotiations. Are markets responding? Are stock markets responding? We had a 48-hour bounce on the stock market 2 weeks ago, and things went back to normal on a couple things in tariffs. So the tariffs, what he's saying is, if you're not going to come to the microphone and you're not going to negotiate on fair trade policies with me, guess what? Here I come. And I'm going to build jobs in America. And I'm going to, if that means I'm going to put tariffs on raw bauxite, which becomes aluminum, then this is what we're going to do. And so these are tactics, not permanent taxes, and we have to wait and see the impact on them. Now, the news media needs to say red man, orange man, bad, and so they're saying inflation's up a bit. It must be those damn tariffs. The tariffs, there hasn't been an impact on a price of something yet. The tariffs have to go into impact. Then you need compliance by companies or mining companies. Then you have to have end result to finished goods, so you can say that they've had time to actually calculate that inflation is up. So any inflation that's up right now, these are November and December impact stats that are still related to the vestiges of the Biden administration. But the media wants their headline. So the negotiations are real. The taxes are real, but they're not going to be here real long. And these are negotiations, and people need to calm down, because I think it's all going to settle back, and the water is going to achieve its level, and we're going to be just fine.
Glenn.
But in the meantime, lots of headlines for people that don't like the orange man.
Glenn.
So I agree. You have to separate his love for tariffs, which he loves, and then also income taxes. He hates income taxes. Would he like to see the United States go back to the way we originally were, where we're getting all of our taxes from overseas and not from the people? Absolutely. But what you're seeing here is negotiation. And every time the press has said, oh, look, it's going to destroy, they've been wrong. He's negotiating. He is the toughest and most brilliant negotiator I have ever seen. From tariffs to Gaza. Look at what the guy did with Gaza. He says the controversial thing was, you know what? All these Palestinians need to leave Israel. That's not what everybody was talking about the next day. They were talking about, and you know what? I'm going to build a resort there. It's going to be the resort of the United States. Everybody in the Middle East, they were trying to stop that, not the exit of the Gazans. He does this every single time. He is negotiating, and brilliantly so. Everybody has faltered so far. Everybody has lost to him on tariffs. Key here is on any tariff that he actually means. What he is doing is rebuilding our infrastructure. We have got to make this stuff ourselves. But how are you going to do that when you can buy it cheaply overseas? He's trying to bring all this industry back, but that takes time. He's got to balance this thing to where he can punish people and reward people. If he goes to a 15-15-15 tax, if he can do that, then you're going to start to have all of these manufacturers coming back, basing things here in the United States. But it's dangerous, a really dangerous game to play with these tariffs until you get the taxes that incentivize people to come back here.
Makes sense, Adam.